Hello everybody and thank you so much for watching. Today we will make Solomon's crop top. It is super cute and very fast to make, and you can put it over anything you already have in your closet. And because they're so fast to crochet, you can make one for any occasion. I made one in pink with 14 rows and one in blue with 16 rows. You can wear this pretty Solomon's crop top in the summertime and even convert it into a head shawl for those cold winter days. We will use a zigzag technique for our sleeve so the seam is invisible. I will be making this top in the video. Here's the hook and yarn information, and you need very little yarn. To get a good length, measure yourself from fingertip to fingertip and crochet an even number of Solomon knots for that length. I will crochet 72 Solomons to get 60 inches of length. Our final length will be shorter than the initial chain. Now let's start our chain of Solomon knots. I made a slip knot. Make one chain and pull a long loop, and you can pull it as long as you like, but always try to pull it the same length. Pull the yarn through the loop. Then go into the left piece of yarn, pull a loop through the left piece of yarn. You have 2 loops on the hook, and pull through 2 loops. Let's repeat. Pull the same long loop, pull the yarn through the loop, pull the yarn through the left loop and through 2 loops. Pull long, through the loop, through the left loop, through 2. Pull long, pull through the loop, through the left loop and through 2 loops. Now the right way to face this chain is that the one loop is on the bottom and the V-stitches of the Solomon knots face upward. Now you can make an even number of Solomon knots for the length that you measured from fingertip to fingertip. I made my 72 Solomon knots. Now let's start a new row. Make 3 Solomons. 1, 2, and those 2 will be the side of the shawl. And make the 3rd Solomon. Turn your chain again so the one piece of yarn faces downward and the V-stitches of the Solomons face upward. We skip 1, 2, 3 knots, and in between the 3rd and the 4th one there's a little single crochet V-stitch. You can turn it to C. Go into that little V-stitch and make a single crochet. Let's take a look. We start each row with 3 Solomons, and during the row we make 2. Make 2 Solomons. 1 and 2. Skip 2 Solomons. 1, 2, go on top of that little V-stitch and single crochet into the V-stitch. And again 2 Solomons. 1 and 2. Skip 2, 1, 2, and crochet the single into the V-stitch. And then you can make 2 Solomons again, skip 2 and make a single crochet. Let's take a closer look at the chain one more time. The one piece of yarn always faces downward in every row. And the 2 pieces of yarn, the V-stitch of the Solomon, always face upward in each row. At the end of the row we made 2 Solomons and we have 2 more to skip. 1, 2, single crochet into the V-stitch of the chain. And we can start a new row again. We always start with 3 Solomons. 1, 2, and 3. And then we can turn our work over. Make sure nothing's twisted. And we will work on top of the first pair right there where the V-stitch of the single crochet is. You'll have to turn it a little bit to see it. So go right on top of the first pair of Solomons and make a single crochet into the V-stitch. And now we can repeat with 2 Solomon knots. 1 and 2. Then go on top of the next pair right here and crochet into that V-stitch. 2 Solomons, 1 and 2, and a single crochet into the V-stitch on top of the next pair of Solomon knots. And we can repeat that all the way to the end of the row again. Let's finish the row. I single crocheted in between the last 2 Solomons and I made 2 more Solomons. Here are our 3 we made on the side, 1, 2, 3. We have to skip the first one and crochet right here into that V-stitch. Grab that V-stitch next to the Solomon and make a single crochet, and now we can start our new row again with 3 new Solomon knots. So we always start with 3. 1, 2 and 3. Then we can turn our work again, and just like on the other side, we go in between of all of the Solomon pairs, right on top, and single crochet into the V-stitches. Make 2 Solomons, 1 and 2. Go to the next pair on top, make the single crochet and 2 Solomons, 1 and 2. And now we can go back and forth and repeat this pattern. Let's finish the row. Single crochet on top of your last pair of Solomons and make 2 Solomons. Skip over the first out of the 3 Solomons on the side and single crochet into the V-stitch. And now we can start our new row with 3 Solomon knots again. Then turn your work and go on top of the first pair of Solomons, make a single crochet and 2 new Solomons. Repeat those rows until you like the width of your top. I made 14 rows. Please make an even number so we can do our sleeves together. And here's a drawing on how I counted out my neck space. Now let's count out the neck space. I will count out 14 pairs of Solomons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and I put my mark on top of the 15th pair. And on the other side I do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and I put my mark on top of the 15th pair. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 empty pairs, but you can adjust your neck space any way you like. I started a row with 3 Solomons that counts as the first space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Then starting with this one, I crochet 20 Solomons. So I have a chain of 20 Solomons, and that's the same amount I have to skip where the markers are. So I have 18 Solomons, including the pair with the markers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 18, 19, and 20. And then you can crochet next to the blue marker on top of those 2 Solomons. Make sure your chain is not twisted. Then go on top of the next pair next to the marker, make a single crochet and continue the pattern with 2 Solomons and single crochet on top of the next pair. Now we can crochet back and forth in rows again. Here's how we're looking after row 2. Go on top of each pair of Solomons and make a single crochet and 2 new Solomons. I made 14 rows for the front, and now I will make 14 rows for the back. Now we can finish the last row, and we'll do that together in a minute. Then we can fold the shawl over and create the seam for the sleeves. Let's finish the last row together. I made 2 Solomons. Then I skip the first out of the 3 and make my single crochet just the usual way. And then we can start again with 2 Solomons. 1 and 2. And now we can bring our 2 corners together. Grab the other corner, and for me that's the beginning where I have my loose end. But either way, grab that first stitch right there on the corner. I try to grab underneath 2 pieces of yarn to have a secure stitch and make a single crochet into that. Now the 2 corners are connected and we have our sleeve. Now let's continue. Make 1 Solomon knot. Go to the first piece on the bottom and grab the next 3 pair of Solomons and make a single crochet into the single crochet. Make a Solomon, then find your next 3 pair of Solomons on the second piece. Then make a single crochet into that single crochet, and that's upside down because it's the bottom edge, so it may be a little bit harder, but just single crochet into that single crochet. And again, 1 Solomon knot. Grab the next pair on the first piece and crochet on top of that into that single crochet. And again, 1 Solomon. And grab the pair on top of the next pair right here. Single crochet into that single crochet. So we're basically zigzagging back and forth. Solomon, grab the next pair below, make a single into that single, Solomon, grab the next pair above, single into that single crochet. So we connected our 2 corners with 2 Solomons, and then we used our zigzag pattern of Solomon knots to make the seam. I will altogether make 17 Solomon knots, and I remember that number for the other sleeve, and you can measure the length of your sleeve and see if you like it. Mine is about 11.5 inches or 30 centimeters. Now you can make your last Solomon on the bottom or on the top. I made mine on the bottom. You can also make it on top. When you made your last Solomon, make 2 more, and that will be the side again. 1 and 2, and then you connect it to your last Solomon. Mine is on top, so I search for my last Solomon that I did right here, and I go into exactly the same stitch into that single crochet, make a single crochet, and then you can make 1 more chain or whatever you do to finish your row, and so on you loose ends. And then we can do the other sleeve the same way. Grab the other 2 corners. Now if you take a look, here are the pairs on the side, and here are the pairs on the bottom. And we make our first single crochet right here into the corner. I'm at the corner and I make my single crochet into the previous single crochet. And then we make 2 Solomons again, 1 and 2. Then grab your second corner. For me it's one where I have 3 Solomons. 1, 2, 3, and I go next to the third one just like I would end a regular row. Single crochet into the single crochet, and now we can make our zigzag pattern the same way as we did on the other side. Make your first Solomon knot, then go into the first piece. In between the first pair of Solomons, make a single crochet, 1 Solomon, and grab your second piece and go into the first pair of 2 Solomons and make a single crochet. Solomon, grab the next 3 pair on the first piece, make your single crochet, Solomon, grab the next 3 pair on the second piece, single crochet, and Solomon, and so on, and I will make my 17 Solomons that I did on the other sleeve. Now our Solomon's crop top is finished. I hope you love it as much as I do, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.